but we do have a presentation, and I would like the planning department to go ahead and present the presentation. This is sort of an update of where we are currently on the website that we are building to notify everybody of the progress with our Barnes Fund. And so, Angie, if you'll kind of explain a little bit about what the Barnes Fund is and why we're building this website, and then kind of give us a brief overview. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Angie Hubbard, Director of the Housing Division at Metro Planning. I'm joined by Casey Ensign, our Housing Policy Research Analyst. We know it's going to be a long night, so we'll be very quick with our presentation. One of the items you're going to consider is BL 2023-1742, which is to call on our division to create a housing dashboard to not only showcase what's happening and in the city around affordable housing, but also to show how we're investing in housing and the progress we're making. So we have already been working on this. Casey's going to do a short demo. Sometimes it's hard to visualize what we're saying on paper, what it's going to look like. We want this, ultimately, we're looking for the end user to be members of the public, to be able to quickly, easily understand what's happening in the city, as well as to understand what's happening with taxpayer dollars that are being invested. Our first iteration is some high-level information on our housing needs and costs, as well as the performance of the Barnes Fund over the course of the next year. As the legislation says, we're going to be adding the performance of other Metro invested projects. So I'm going to turn it over to Casey for a short walkthrough of what this looks like.
Can you all hear me okay? Okay, sounds good. Hello, everyone. I'm Casey Ensign. As Angie mentioned, I'm just going to do a really brief demo of our housing dashboard. As Angie mentioned, this is kind of our first iteration of the dashboard that was completed in December of 2022, and we're looking forward to updating this with more information, and especially including MDHA's affordable housing inventory in addition to the Barnes Fund, which it currently has. So this first page, as you'll see, is called the State of Affordable Housing. It includes a bunch of different data and statistics on affordability, on housing costs, on our housing inventory. So I won't go through all of the visuals because I know we're on a tight timeline, but I'll encourage you all to look at it with the link that we'll share out later. So as you can see, we have information broken down by renters and households, and lots of different data on this page for you to look at that includes census data in addition to some information from CoStar, the Federal Reserve as well. And then the second two pages, which we're really excited about, showcases our Barnes investments, our Barnes production over the last several years. Currently, this goes through Barnes Round 9, but we'll be updating this to include Barnes Round 10 in the most recent round of Barnes Round 11 as well. So one feature that I just wanted to highlight really quickly is that you can filter by round to see the type of units that were funded for that particular round, if they were home buyer, if they were rental units, and also the AMI targets for that particular units, and then also what is the status of those properties or those units. Are they under construction? Are they in pre-development, or are they completed? So I'll just filter to show round 5 really quickly. And you'll see here that the visuals have filtered to show you just round 5. So in orange is home buyer units, in blue is rental units, and this green little silver here is what we are calling leveraged units. And those are units that are typically from the 60 to 80% AMI range that Barnes doesn't go up to fund, but they are still included in some of our properties. UHS, for example, often has buildings that include units for 60 to 80 or 80 and up, and we wanted to make sure that we were still capturing that in our inventory. We also have a map here that you can click on a council district and get a quick snapshot of how many units were funded in that particular council district and more information on the type of units as well. And then I will just really quickly show this last page that just shows some high-level financial data on how much has been invested in the Barnes Fund since its iteration, how much funding has been leveraged. Here in this little fun bubble graphic, you can click on each developer that has been funded with the Barnes round and see how many units that they have been able to develop since its iteration. So that's a quick snapshot again of the dashboard. We definitely will encourage you to take a look at it at a later date, but for the future iterations, some of the major updates will include adding more affordable housing inventory to include, like we said, MDHAs, some of the new programs that we're rolling out as well.
Thanks, Casey. And so this is a live link. We'll send it out to you all so you can play around with it. We would love your feedback too. And we've shared it with a lot of other groups already and are receiving feedback so that we can, as we do the second update, incorporate that. We will eventually have a map that you can overlay all the affordable housing, including low-income housing tax credits, Barnes, all of that, the mixed income pilot, all of those, so you can see where those investments are throughout the county. And so with that, we'll conclude unless there's any questions for us.
Excuse me, since we said this is for the general public,
Yes.
would you give some definitions? What is Barnes Fund? What is AMI?
Right.
And when you say not unit, around, what does that mean?
Okay, certainly. So the Barnes Fund is our local housing trust fund that the Metropolitan government invests in every year through an appropriation of the general fund. AMI is our area median income. That is the targets, income targets that we use for the Barnes Fund. There is a table that shows our area median income by household size, so that will be easy for the public to see. And then we also show the performance, how the Barnes Fund's being invested at different area median income ranges. And then, as we call a Barnes round, just means when we've made funding available to nonprofits to create or preserve affordable housing in a certain time, whether it's fall 2022 would be, fund round, I think was funding round 10. And so that's how we correspond with the timelines. And all of that will be on our dashboard to walk people through.
Great, thank you. And we look forward to this developing and continuing on. As they say, if you don't measure, you don't know where you are. And so this kind of gives us an opportunity to show the public what we're doing with those funds. Thank you. And I now see that we've had more council people walk in, and we actually have a quorum, so we can do business. Our first resolution is RS 2023-2087 by Roten. Do I have a motion? Okay. This authorizes the Metropolitan Mayor to submit Nashville Davidson Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Action Plan for funds allocated to the Metropolitan Nashville from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to recover from Presidentially Disaster Declaration 4601-DRTN. Do we have any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Against? Motion passes. The second item on our agenda are bills on second reading. BL 2023-1742, Allen, Evans, Sawara, and others. Do I have a motion? Okay. Councilmember Allen, would you like to speak to this?
You need to turn your microphone on.
Oh, 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I apologize for being late in traffic, and I'm sorry I missed the demonstration, but this is the bill that would ask the Department of Housing to provide the dashboard so that we can see the progress that's being made, measured against the need, and I'm so grateful for all the work that they've done on this. I do have an amendment that I would like to move that would simply incorporate some feedback that we got from the members of the Affordable Housing Task Force. So I would like to move that amendment, please.
Yes. Do I have any discussion or questions? Do I have a second?
There's a second.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. All those in favor? Any against? The bill passes as amended.
I'll move the bill as amended.
Yeah.
Great.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, yes. Parker? There we go. You're on.
Thank you. Just very quickly, this might be a question for the Affordable Housing Division staff. Is this the same dashboard that's been worked on for some amount of time now, or is this a separate endeavor?
Admin table.
Hi, Councilmember. It is the same one. We are just going to be working on updates to incorporate all the other information that's included in the legislation.
Excellent. Thank you all so much.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Thank you. And that concludes the business of the Affordable Housing Committee.